going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 4 of season 2 of the Revelers Real podcast. And I've got a couple friends with me from across the pond, and we are battling the time difference and time zones and all that fun stuff. But it's not our first rodeo, because I have been on their podcast twice, and I am talking about the gentleman from Talks with Dorks. Only got 2 of them with us today. And we've got Ryan and we've got Kurt. They are joining me here, and we're already getting things kicked off. We've already cracked open a couple of cold ones, and you know it's evening there for them, middle of the day for me. So this should get really interesting. So thank you guys for jumping on the podcast with me. I really appreciate you joining me.
Do you know how weird it was when that countdown started? I was fully prepared to start introducing our podcast.
I was wondering if that would happen.
As I said just before we started recording, I haven't had a bit. I mean, this is a cider, but I haven't really drunk alcohol in at least a year. I am 2 sips in, and it's clearly already affected me because I was full on ready to go. Welcome to Talks with Dorks.
It's even worse because you use the same platform that we do to record this, and everything looks the same. And I got weirded out a little bit when Ryan wasn't the first person to talk.
It was so strange. So
strange. You're on my turf now, lads. You're on my turf. So,
but didn't you only just sign up to this software because of us?
Well, just because I was really getting frustrated with how I was using OBS, which OBS works pretty good for a lot of things. But I didn't like the way things were kind of processing and stuff, and it was just annoying the shit out of me. So yeah, I jumped on Riverside just so that way I could, have this as something easier to do. I'm pretty good with the audio and video stuff. I've been editing and crap for years doing what I've been doing, but I was like, you know what? I'm feeling lazy. I want to let something process it for me.
How you find it? It's so easy to use.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Like I used to use StreamYard, and that just there was things I didn't like about it. They also charge you up the ass. I'm not saying Riverside's like super cheap, but by comparison, yeah, way more affordable.
I mean, yeah, we pay for the, I don't know what you're on, but like the middle ground band of it. And honestly, the funny thing is, not the week we started using this, but one of the week I figured one of the most important parts of this out is when you do the editing is the layout. I don't know if you figured that bit out, where you can swap between people. Like the simplest thing. But the funny thing is, Woody, that same week, had just started saying to me, I think we need to start, like, the podcast is just all 4 of us all the time. We need to cut between people. So he spent like 6 to 8 hours editing this week's podcast. And about 5 minutes after he messaged me saying, I've just done it, I figured out how to do it on here in 5 seconds.
Now, here's where we find out.
Hate me. You're gonna.
This is where we find out how good of a relative Ryan is, because Woody and Ryan are related. This is where we find out exactly how good of a relative Ryan is. Did you tell him that you'd figured it out, or did you use his version?
Well, we used his version that week, but I told him straight away as soon as I found out. Absolutely, because I knew it was not only going to wind. I felt terrible, but I also knew he's going to be like, "Wow, I've literally just wasted a day." And I literally just went, oh, what's that layout? No way.
Here's the difference between you and me, mate. I would have published his version and then like maybe 5 days later been like, oh, Wood, I've just found out how to do this.
See, that just goes to show how nice of a guy Ryan is. He's just like, I just figured it out, so we'll do this next time.
Yeah, but it's because it's not even me like fully trying to be. And hang on, we're not the 5-minute mark. Am I allowed to use bad language on your podcast?
Off you pop, man.
It's not me trying to be a dick, but it's the ADHD brain. As soon as I figured it out, I need the world to know that I've just discovered this great secret, especially knowing that he texted me 5 minutes before and going, I've just finished it. And I've got it somewhere. He sent me a picture of the cat cut edits, like how many times he changed it. And I knew he was doing it. I think at the time as well with 3 separate tracks, or whoever was on the podcast, them many tracks rather than all one episode. So he spent so much time and it was perfect. It was brilliant. But then, like 5 minutes after, I was went, "Oh, what's this?" Oh,
You'll have to clue me in. You'll have to clue me in because this will be my first official recording on the Riverside software, so that way I can just let it do it for me. Because I mean, I've gotten pretty good at editing. I've been doing it for anywhere from 6 to 7 years, editing my own material, videos, and different things that I put out. And I enjoy it. I really do. It's fun for me. But there have been times where I was like essentially stitching shit, and then it was just like later on I found out, like, oh, there's this much easier way that would have saved me like an hour or two. And I was just so annoyed. But I was like, okay, well, next time you won't have to struggle so much. I always do things the hard way. I always take the long way around the fucking barn. It's just always been my MO.
Well, that was it. When we discovered this, and this, like the whole Talks with Dorks came from, was lockdown. I saw everybody was starting to do podcasts, didn't have a clue, and I'd started doing online radio. So I was shown how to put together a radio show using Audacity. I don't know if you ever used. Is it Audacity, Kurt, I'm talking about?
It is Audacity, yeah. Really good free bit of editing software, but
yeah. And then my nephew, same Woody, because he was on the radio station. We'd wanted to do a show together, but they couldn't figure out a way of two people doing it at the same time. He just scouring the internet figured this. I think it was using OBS or something, and how we could record both tracks. There was like timing issues sometimes, but he figured it out. So I then went, oh, that podcast I could start. I've wanted to start with my friend, the geeky one. We could do it that way. Bye, Kurt.
Uh-oh.
He'll be back.
He's gone. Just you and me for the
That's
moment.
what happens when you call in England. Or he's drunk too many beers before he started and he's just fallen asleep.
I mean, I don't have a problem with pre-gaming, but damn.
Kurt's out of the pair of us, Kurt's the professional drinker.
I am not a professional drinker. I don't drink as often. Well, I don't drink as often as I'd like, but it's probably good that I don't, because I remember like during the pandemic, I was drinking like 2 to 3 beers a day. It was bad. There he is.
See, I've never been a big drinker, and this is when you said this. I said this to the boys. I was like, who else said it? Someone else said I'm not drinking. Kurt, I think it was Laferd. Was like, I don't drink.
Yep.
I don't drink. I went, neither do I, but I'm going to do it because I don't drink, and it could be really funny.
Well, we're gonna find out over the next hour or so. So
yeah, well, I don't know because it's been that long, and I know I'm an idiot when I've had a drink. And I start thinking I'm funny, so it could be really entertaining. It could be the worst episode of your podcast, but I'm in for the count.
Considering how few people actually like tune into it, I mean, I'm sure the handful of people that watch are going to find it funny.
Well, this is the thing, because I was just thinking about it, right? Because obviously you normally talk cigars and smoking and stuff like that. I have openly said it on our podcast, but your podcast is based in America, so my actual what's the word I'm thinking of, my not niche, my tipple is smoking.
Yeah,
but yeah,
not cigars.
Yeah, not cigars. And again, I'm being careful because I have to be. I'm very wary of what we say on ours, because in Britain it's not okay, but I know that the state you live in.
Yeah, no, don't even worry about it, especially because, going on Spotify and even on YouTube, like, I stopped giving a fuck, because I know there's no way that my content is going to get monetized, at least on YouTube. Spotify, potentially, but YouTube, no, there's no chance. Because if you say the word cigar, if it's in the title, if it's in the description, even if none of that is there, even if it's not in the title, you don't say it, it's not in the description, if you're holding one, their algorithm will pinch your ass, and then it'll be like, nope, sorry, can't be monetized because you're holding a tobacco product. And it's just like, with everything they promote with like cannabis and stuff like that, although I will say recently they've kind of started to, nip cannabis in the bud, pun fully intended. And just they're like, YouTube has just become such a fucking... you can't be creative. You can't be fully creative. You can't be fully expressive. You can't say what you want. You can't show what you want. I mean, obviously, aside from the fully graphic stuff, you can't say certain things. Where
I mean, let's be honest, there's a reason why the phrase unalive has become a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Absolutely.
And I cannot stand. I can't stand that degree of not being even allowed to say the word. There's
Right.
one thing if you're like promoting certain things, but like not even being able to say a certain word that's not a swear word. It's not a taboo. It's not an overly sexual thing. It's just a word, but you're not allowed to say it. And like you talk about the smoking as well. I mean, there's a trend on like YouTube and TikTok and the like where basically people start a video by putting something towards their mouth that looks like a vape pen and going, vape? No, recorder. And
I don't know what your algorithm shows you, but I don't see stuff like that.
honestly, check it out now. Like, there's the whole trend of it. Basically, people putting like what looks like the end of a vape pen to their mouth, and they look at the camera and then just go, no, it's actually anything other than a vape, to the most ridiculous extent, because they know the second YouTube thinks it's a vape, it will automatically restrict the video.
Kurt, there is absolutely no way in God's green earth I am going to be searching for that to be in my algorithm.
All it takes is one time, one search.
Exactly. I've done it so many times where I've gone and like, I don't want to start Carl on politics, but like if I've seen something that's going on with a certain person in charge of a country, you see it and you go, what has been going on this week? And you quickly have a look for 5 minutes and then you go back to just scrolling and go,
other video.
Fucked it.
I mean, it's even worse when like you watch a video of like one of those people in the media who is quite controversial, but like a stop clock, they're right twice a day, and it's one of those rare occasions where they actually make a point that you go, do you know what? He's got a point. God forbid you watch that full video, because that is going to be you screwed until the end of time. Of every other recommendation is going to be, oh, you like that one, do you? Bam.
That's why.
Well, shit. God forbid you say it. God forbid you say it out loud, because your phone's gonna hear it anyway.
I mean, to be fair, I said that Ryan said he's not going to search for those, oh, is it a vape videos? If I've said this loud enough and his phone's nearby, the algorithm's going to do the job for me.
Pretty much.
It lit up. That was brilliant.
All right, that calls for it.
All right. Now we're kicking off. But no, fucking like, it's the same thing with like me with like, because I watch and listen to a variety of things on YouTube. Everything from true crime to funny stories to, cigar content. And then like the other stuff was like, I've started to watch and listen to these podcasters on YouTube that are doing what's called like deconstruction, like deconstructing from religion. And because that's me too. I was a very religious person for many years, and that has not been the case for a very long time. And so, over the years, I've kind of like looked into things, and without getting too deep into it, it's just like I'm content where I am in terms of what I believe and all that kind of stuff. But the moment, like, the algorithm will sometimes misinterpret that, because you're looking for something along those lines, and next thing you know, they're throwing all these fucking evangelical and Christian podcasts and far right Christian, shit and some MAGA stuff, and I'm like, no, I did not want that. Get it away from me. And thankfully, it didn't stick around for very long. And I started typing in other search stuff, and it just kind of weeded it out. But it's just like, yeah, it's ridiculous. You type in one thing, and it thinks you want to watch that or see that all the time.
I think YouTube's even worse for it in the fact that, especially if it's like YouTube Shorts, like if you hover on that short for even half a second, it counts it as part of your watch history, which of course, like, it's all algorithm focused, so it's just throwing up videos left, right, and centre anyway. And I've had to manually go into my YouTube history and delete like a week's worth of individual videos, because the algorithm just got so screwed from I watched one to its fruition, and then every other video after that was, and yeah, I got to the point where I could not get the algorithm away from it. No matter what else I watched, it would always still recommend one of those every other video. So yeah, manually deleting every one of those videos that had ever, even half a second of which appeared on my watch history is a most. I've not had to delete my history that much since I was a teenager.
Well, this is one of the main reasons why I don't let any of the other podcast guys use or log into our Twitter. Because there's
one in particular.
What?
There's one in particular I reckon you're thinking of never let them have control of the Twitter.
Yeah, no, because the algorithm on the Twitter, I don't even like, because I don't use Twitter, but the algorithm on the Twitter on the podcast one, you go on there and you're like, whoa, like there's, it's easy to end up aroused. It's like
Just when you do that voice.
It's just you scroll on Twitter, because on Twitter there seems to be no limits to certain things. You scroll on Twitter and you're like, oh, wrestling, oh, Batman, great. Whoa, what's he do? Oh, right.
Like the kind of stuff that makes you turn your head like a dog, just like, okay.
Yeah, quick, over to Safari to change the, start searching. Like, see?
Oh, but all it takes is one wrong turn, just depending on what platform you're using. One wrong turn, and they start sending you down this rabbit hole to which, like, you wonder if you're ever. It's like the back rooms. You wonder if you're ever going to get out. It's so insane.
Through, just going through, going. I hope this doesn't awaken something in me.
Which yeah, no kidding. I remember. Well, kind of shifting the subject, I mentioned the back rooms, which I just watched the trailer for that, which I'm actually interested to see. Because like I told you when I was on your guys' podcast last, like I've been on a massive horror kick. Like it's honestly all I've been watching, and so I saw the trailer for that. But just today, I saw the teaser for Evil Dead Burn.
And that was a thing.
Well, like they originally, I guess it originally was only viewable if you were to go see Lee Cronin's The Mummy, which just came out this past week, and like they didn't release it online. You know how they usually are about like just as soon as like the trailer's available either in the cinema or anywhere, they just throw it online, and usually that's where it gets the most views. Well, I saw like a leak of it. Somebody who actually went to a screening of Lee Cronin's The Mummy and they saw the trailer. Some people leaked it online. Honestly, it's one of those teasers where I have no idea what we're in for, but I am already afraid. I'm already scared. It's gonna be something else. I swear. I don't know what to expect right now.
Evil Dead Burn, right? So is this linked with like the Ash side of Evil Dead?
Maybe. I don't know, but like with Evil Dead Rise, I know it was kind of loosely like I feel like, and I don't know what they're planning because like according to Sam Raimi, he wants to try and release like a new movie every 2 to 3 years, just keep things rolling, but like different directors, different types of stories, you know, whether they executive produce or not, they want to keep the franchise alive. And what I love about this is that they're one of the few movie franchises that they're not trying to do just a solid remake of it. They kind of did that in 2013, but it wasn't quite a remake. It was kind of a soft reboot, and we discussed that last time. And now it's just like they're trying to take it in this crazy direction where it's like they are cranking up the intensity with every single one. Because like Evil Dead Rise, I loved it, but it was brutal. It was hard to watch. I enjoyed the hell out of it though.
So I love a zombie horror. But for me, the Evil Dead, like to me, it's like that universe. That's Ash, right? That Ash, and because again, like my mate Ash, who has literally gone to Halloween dressed up with him. He had the chainsaw and everything strapped to his arm. Like we used to love watching them just for like having a laugh watching a horror and like you know, like trying to be laddie and trying to be like Ash, because Ash is a fucking dude. Like he's an absolute dude. And it's funny, it's reminded me, I haven't seen Rise, obviously I haven't seen Burn, but I never finished Ash versus Evil Dead.
Where did you leave off?
I think season 1. I think I finished season 1 and never went back. I might be wrong. I might not be.
I can't give you too hard of a time because I still haven't watched Superman. So.
Well, what was the fucking point of us being here?
Like, I knew you were going to do something like that.
Am I going to?
I knew you were going to do. The guilt kicked in automatically when I saw your setup, dude. Come on. Just leave me alone.
I went with Batman as a hint because if I went with the Superman T-shirt, it's literally hung up there. It was like a little bit too obvious as he talked about it.
Speaking of T-shirts, did you guys even notice mine?
I saw it very early on.
Oh, yes.
Angel
Kurt, what have you got on?
Grove, class of 1993.
Kurt, what have you got on? Is it TDW?
Of course.
Nice.
See,
Represent.
I hate people trying to brand stuff.
Yeah. You're not wearing anything branded whatsoever, are you?
No.
Well, the worst bit about this is if no one's seen us talk about it before or seen our podcast or anything like that before, they're going to be looking at this going like, are they dyslexic? I thought it was Talks with Dorks. Like, they've got the letters the wrong way round.
TDW, yeah. So yeah, we do the wrestling, don't we? And have our own wrestling company. But that is not the subject. But you made me think of when we were talking about people. What was it we were saying just now? When I was streaming the other night during WrestleMania, there was
Pretty sure he's not talking about me, Kurt.
no, I was streaming. There was something we were talking just now. Do you know what? Carry on, boys, because the drink's kicking in. And whatever I was thinking about is a really important thing to say just now. And
Yeah, kill some more brain cells. That will get the memory back.
no,
Hell
they're
yeah.
gone. They are straight gone. I can feel.
No,
this.
you got to lubricate the brain a little bit more, and then things will just start, tumbling around a bit, and then you might just fall to the front of your brain at some point.
What's really annoying when I kind of went into that conversation, I had what it was I was going to talk about ready to go, and then I went to say it, and in my head went, no. Oh, normally I give you 30 things to think about at once. You've had a drink. I'm going to give your brain a rest, and it just shut off. All right, I'll have a drink.
So just take a load off, mate. I'll take it from here. So
Okay, man, no worries.
nice, very nice. You made me think of fucking. I think I said this last time. You made me think of. Gosh, see now the alcohol's affecting my brain. I can't remember who I was thinking about. Jim Jeffries. Jim Jeffries, when he does an American accent, it sounds exactly the same. It's just the stereotypical. All right, guys, let's just chill out, okay? It's so funny hearing anyone else do an American accent because they either do a really great job of just kind of an amalgamation of how we sound, or they just completely just stick to a stereotype, and it's hilarious.
So I think it's like is it the Midwestern? I think is a lot of Brits can do that sort of American accent fairly well, but like any other region, we're terrible.
Southern accents. I've heard Brits do really good Southern accents. Like Michael Caine, I remember when he was in that movie Secondhand Lions, he was just, he's talking like this, and I'm like, that sounds weird coming out of him.
Obviously, I've always been obsessed with the American accent. Like since a kid, I always remember the first time I ever heard an American in real life was.
It's nothing special, man.
No, but to you it isn't. To us, it was completely. It's the same, isn't it? Like people, your general audience listeners is an American audience. It's in my head that people might be going, what is that guy talking about? Because I have what I believe is a Cockney accent, and it is coming out more the more the drink comes out. So what I mean? Right, listen, sweet, right, and your audience might be going, what is that guy talking about? But the American accent for me has always been a fascination. Like I said, when I first ever heard the real life American, I must have been about 6 or 7, and I was at a theatre or something, and there was this family, and this American guy was just talking, and I remember sitting there, and whether he knew I was just staring for ages because I was like, it's a real life American. It's a real life one. Because you got to remember, we were brought up on the American dream as such. We everything cool we saw on the TV. You guys always had the better special effects. You always had the better TV shows. I mean, not the better TV shows. I mean, we had some great TV shows and that, but ours always looked more dated and behind on the special effects than what you guys had out there because Hollywood. It was Hollywood and what we were seeing. So fascinating. All the cool stuff, Power Rangers, Batman, Superman, all American. So to me, America was a fascination. And that's why when I came to LA in 2018, and how crazy is that we would have met like 5 years difference we could have crossed paths in California at that point. You never know. But
Well, you know what? I mean, I still need to come to the UK, so you better believe whenever I do, you'll be hearing from me.
mate,
So-
absolutely. But come over. Tell us when you're coming, and or when you figure it, and we'll figure out like a cool time to do a con over here or something, or just something like for us, our sort of thing.
Yeah. Well,
Definitely.
the nice thing is we have family there, so like my wife and I were talking about coming there for our 20th anniversary, which is in 2 years. And so the nice thing is she has family there. She could go see her aunt and cousins, and then I can go fuck off and we can go do something, and hang out together. I mean,
So where the
hopefully she's down
where's the
for it.
family? Where's the family live? I'm sure we mentioned this before, but I've had a drink.
They live close to London, but I couldn't tell you exactly where.
Just out of curiosity, is this close to London, as in actually close to London? Or like when the average American says, oh, where are you from? Manchester. That's close to London, right?
No.
Wow, that's a bit racist, Kurt.
Well, my wife's aunt, she does a farmer's market, and I think it's actually like pretty like not in the city center, but definitely right I think in the outskirts of London. So, but I could be wrong.
It's better than like a lot of Londoners that would go, where you from? London. What part of London? They go like Essex. They go, so you're not from London then?
No. Although to be fair, when you
like, gangster thing to say, the cool thing to say, I'm from London.
That being said,
So
though, when you say Essex, which is actually where me and Ryan are from, which is it's about 2 hours from London on a bad day.
Right.
But
Depends what part of Essex.
yeah, but fun enough, one of our main airport in Essex is just down the road from me in a place called Southend, and when you land at Southend, it actually says, welcome to London Southend Airport. And I feel like that should come with an apology to any tourists. Little small print underneath that says, by the way, if you're not from the UK, we apologise, as this is nowhere near London whatsoever.
Well,
Yeah.
like where I live right now, like I live in a town called Corona, and I'm like about 2 hours
I'm so
north of
sorry.
San Diego. It was Corona long before the virus was ever a thing. Okay, so fuck off. But anyway,
Would you really that you all thought about the virus? Like, I've not had a drink in a year, and instantly I was thinking, salud me familiar with the corona.
Ryan,
well, no, that crosses your mind. That crosses your mind. But like, I remember during the pandemic when I was talking with because one of the things that we did a lot, like all of us cigar smoking guys, we would jump on what's called online herfs, which herf is just another word for like having a big old smoke session with a bunch of people. And it was like I would tell people where I was from, because I more often than not I was literally the only person from California in these groups. Everybody else was either in the Midwest or the South. And when I would tell them the name of my town, they were like, wait, what? And it was like right in the midst of 2020, so like it was all happening, and they're like, yes, my town is called Corona. It was Corona long before there was a virus. So yeah, no, just ignore that. But technically, where I live is part of the quote greater Los Angeles area, because I'm like right around like an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on traffic, from LA, like northeast of LA. And so, like, technically speaking, yes, I'm part of the quote greater Los Angeles area, which is just a lot of Southern California.
In the same way that Southend is part of London.
Exactly my point.
And to be fair, to answer something that Ryan said earlier on, of course I immediately thought of the virus when he said corona. I'm on a Zoom call having a drink right now. I haven't done this since 2020.
Memories. Like, honestly, right now, again, without getting too political, I kind of almost want to go back to that. Just because of how fucking bonkers things are right now. Where, yeah, you can go anywhere you want. You can leave the house. You can go to shops. You can go to restaurants. You can walk among the public, go to a show, things like that. But, man, everybody's just in a fucking mood. It's just it's just how it is right now.
Bro, I miss it so much. I mean, firstly, turns out there's a word for my social life. It's called isolation. Who knew? But I loved it during that beautiful period. That I don't know if you had it the same way you were, but we had that beautiful period where you were allowed to go back out again, but they were still enforcing the social distancing, and they were still enforcing people basically being in a bubble. So, like, even in a lot of the public spaces, they'd maybe only let like 20 or 30 of you in at a time. That was my favourite time that I've ever been alive, because I'm walking around going, hang on, people are legally obligated to get the fuck out of my personal space.
It's beautiful.
I had a great time.
See, COVID for me, like, there was the big upside of it was my son was due June 2020. So we had all that time when I could have been back and forth DJing all that time. I got to have with him, which was unbelievable. But I was so broke because I didn't have, I'd only gone self-employed technically like a year beforehand. So like I didn't get any of the grants that people were getting for money. I had money I'd saved up. Funny enough, it was the first time I'd ever been able to save in my life, proper save. So I had a couple of grand actually saved up, but that went on living. That just went on getting through the first few months, and then had to go and get a job in a bar that was social distanced in a club, but it was a club that I used to DJ in as well. So I used to have to walk around serving people drinks, looking at the DJ booth, watching a DJ on the TV screen that they had, that nobody was allowed to dance. They had to sit down. So it was so depressing, like working in this bar, like there's a DJ booth right there. Everybody just wants to get up and dance. And it was annoying because everybody that was there it was me. They would go, can we have some better music? I'm like, I'd fucking love to. Like, I would do anything to be the guy that could give you that right now. But do you know what? I'm going to go get you your next drink and clean up that sick that's on the stairs over there. Because people are still being sick on stairs, even though they've got a social distance.
The sick space was about 2 meters apart. 2 meters apart.
Right.
It was a weird. And then I went and did a job fitting windows with my brother-in-law, which I am the furthest thing from being what we would call like a construction worker, you might call, but I suppose, but like a grafter, someone that goes out and manual labours. That is not me. That is, I'm the guy that comes on and puts on the show and makes people laugh. I do not get my hands dirty and go build, and you don't trust me with any power tools. So I had to then go do that, and I had a great time. Like, me and my brother-in-law, we had such a great time and a laugh, but I was useless at the work, so we didn't barely get any work done, etc. And he was like, he loved having a day off anyway. So I would just spend most of the time driving to work, pretending I knew what I was doing all day, struggling, and then come back. And I was like, do you know what, this lockdown thing, everyone else seems to be really having a great time. But like I said, the bonus point was I had more time with my kid that I wouldn't have done as such.
Yeah, that was kind of the same thing, although it was a double-edged sword, because like my youngest had just turned 2 right before the pandemic hit, and so he was kind of like in those more like developmental years and stuff, like, which is just so much fun to watch, and watching him develop his little personality and whatnot. But like, I also, like, I said this to Ryan earlier, that like I never drank so much in my life, because I was home. My wife worked from home, obviously. I was an essential worker, so I actually had to go into work. I worked at one of the big hardware stores here, and I had to be there 5 days a week. And so like, and we would only allow so many people in, and the people who were allowed in were just being pain in the ass. And then I'd come home, and I'd be home all the time, and my kids would always be there. I would get next to no time to myself. So yeah, I drank a lot, and it couldn't have come at a better time, because like for Christmas, that like 2019, my wife got me my own little like beer tap, and it was the one where you put like the little mini keg in, and it gives you anywhere from like 6 to 8, glasses of beer. So I was just like, yep, this was perfect. I didn't have to go out and get a 6 or a 12 pack, and I was just like, This is perfect. I'm good. That got me through like the first 6 months.
I always feel like I need to apologise to anyone who was an actual essential worker, because during COVID, because Ryan mentioned getting into a local radio station a little while ago, and that's actually where me and Ryan first met. Was I worked at the same radio station, and my show was pre-recorded at the time, so I would come in to record my show at roughly the same time that Ryan was live doing his show. So we started bonding over there. But before that, I was doing a live show. Saturday daytime, typical magazine show. Like, we just talk shit and play some funny games and play some good tunes. Like, just a bit of light entertainment. And yet, because I worked at a radio station and had a live mic in front of my face, I got classed as an essential key worker. Because obviously, if there's any major updates about the pandemic or the state of the world, or, you know, God forbid, like one of the royals died or something like that, that I was the guy who was trusted to do the live announcement. So I'm classed as an essential worker dicking around on the radio for 3 hours out of a Saturday. And I felt so bad as people
gig. I would have taken that gig.
Yeah, I loved it, but I felt so bad for like all the hospital workers and the care workers and this, that, and the other who are actually doing like really good work and having a terrible time because the world's on its arse and they're having more pressure than they've ever had. They're classed as an essential worker, and so is this guy.
I think that's what's mad about it, is everybody's experience was so different. Like I said, I take away a big positive of COVID. It was the time with my son, but like I look at COVID work-wise as my industry was the first to close and the last to reopen. So like it was a real financial issue for me that it took me a long time to get back from. So
yeah,
it's kind of like, as much as I had all that time, it's like, can't give, like, you know, like we were doing a lot of like very basic things to keep the kids entertained, but that I wouldn't be able to do most days. It's a weird, like very weird times to look back on that we even experienced that, where the whole world just went bye.
And I never thought I'd miss it. That's the funny thing, because it was just like, yeah, we were so like frustrated and getting such bad cabin fever and going stir crazy. But it was honestly just, you felt like things were a little bit more relaxed because you were forced to stay home for the most part. And certain burdens and certain cares did not fall on you. And so you kind of just got to take a bit of a breather. I mean, as long as you weren't in public. But, you know, it was just like, it's such a strange thing. And you know, because of just how things have kind of shifted and changed, it's so bonkers. So, yeah, it was a hell of a time. But you know what? Honestly, I don't look back on it and thinking like, oh, that was the worst time of my life. It actually wasn't that bad.
No, we've come out a different species as such. We are so different now. I mean, again, I don't know like about everybody else's industry, but the nightlife industry, like everybody was desperate to get the nightclubs back open, because over here, nightclubs, the thing was, you turned 18, if you weren't already clubbing underage under someone's fake identification, you were waiting to be 18 and going clubbing every night of the week. Like when I was 18, if there was a day that ended in Y, I was out clubbing. And I remember the amount of conversation with my mum of going, how are you going out? You have no money. I'm like, well, you're going to drop me there. My mate's lending me £5 to get, because back then £5 would get you at least 2 drinks. I'm going to have 2 drinks, which doesn't matter. Like, I'm okay with that because I'm just going out to be out because I just wanted to be out. Now, watching it, like I'm a DJ on a Friday night. I start my DJ gig at 7 o'clock. Now, again, when I was 18, me and my friends, when a club opened, we were the first ones in there. Not like other people who went to the pub first before the club or the bar, just the pre-drinking part of going to the club. We went to the nightclub and waited for everybody else to turn up. Mm-hmm. But nobody does that now. Now they just wait for everybody else. Everybody just turns up at the same time. I get there at 7 on a Friday. They arrive at 11. As a DJ, 4 hours of DJing to nobody is hell. It's like, and that's why I turned to the lockdown version of I go live, because I have interaction with people going live. I revert to the lockdown, which was clearly a really great time because I didn't have to leave my house to entertain people. I could do it from here, and I didn't do it enough. I think that was the problem for me, was I didn't figure out the content creator, the TikTok-y stuff as quick as everybody else did in lockdown, when I knew I probably should have done, because I now do it all the time, and it's where I really want to put my dedication into nowadays.
So,
as awesome as that story
Ryan,
was, as awesome as that story was, I do feel like at least a chunk of the American listener base and viewer base of this one was doing a lot of admin during that story. There's people watching this and listening to this right now, just going like, okay, he said £5. Is that good? Was that good? What's £5 in dollars? Like, what does he mean when he says 18?
I'm so sorry. I'm not going to lie. I was going to
dude,
point it out.
don't apologize. You are, dude. Don't. I can understand everything you're saying. So it's not like this fucking yank isn't gonna be bothered by that. So, but so it makes me think about buddy.
The more you drink, the more Cockney you're going, and it's brilliant.
Like, I'm not going to lie.
I fucking love it.
I wanted to end that story by saying, boys, I'm really drunk.
Well, then, I wonder if you're going to remember this. So, Ryan, are you ready for your lesson in how to properly cut and light a cigar?
Okay, but I can't practice myself other than with my vape, which...
Well, you can refer back to this at a later date. So, just...
Okay.
You don't have to pay crazy close attention right now, but just refer back to it later. So,
can I ask you the question that's been on my mind since about 5 minutes into this podcast when I started drinking?
Sure.
Can I vape as well?
Yes, please do. Come on, you're fucking man. Just do it. Fucking do it. Okay.
There's 4 occasions during this podcast that he's blown smoke into the camera, and you're asking now.
But it's a different thing to how we do things, and 2, like, it's a vape. Like, it's not as cool as a fucking cigar. I said this before, right? Do you remember, like, you guys grew up, you're smoking a cigar, realistically, deep down, the reason you're smoking a cigar, because you know you look fucking cool smoking a cigar, right?
I mean, I like to think so, but...
Right? So, but like, you think again, like I said, we grew up in American culture. You think of, like, Greece. Could you imagine right now, like, because you think of Greece, they all smoked cigarettes, didn't they? Do you remember that? Could you think about it right now? Sandy walks up and goes... Think about it, stud. It's not as sexy as what it was in 1977, is it?
No, not quite. Well, like, especially when it comes to cigarettes here in the U.S., like, you know, there's... And that's what kind of... Just to go off on a tangent, that's kind of what fucks with what I do. Whereas, like, California is so anti-tobacco that, like, they lump cigars in the same category as cigarettes and all of that nonsense, which I could go into a whole laundry list as to why that's not the same thing, because it's not the same thing at all. Where, you know, cigarettes, they got a bunch more stuff in them, and this is just leaf. This is all that it is, tobacco leaf. That's all it is. Yeah, it's just like like, you don't see it. You don't. People hide their smoking habits here, like, a lot. They you know, whereas, like, you guys are in the UK or anywhere in Europe, and they're just like, we don't give a shit, you know. It's like that kind of thing. We're just like, whatever. We're just gonna smoke our cigarettes, you know. And if you don't like it, fuck off, you know. Yeah, no, you do look a little cooler smoking a cigar, just because, like, it has just a different kind of imagery, and, you know, you think about the people who make it look good, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Clint Eastwood, you know, all of our heroes.
I mean, smoking smoking a cigarette, smoking a joint, smoking a cigar, it looks cool. These, like, you could not see a remake of Grease set in 2026, could you, with this? Like, that scene, you would just eliminate the cigarette part. Just get rid of that.
I now want to see that more than anything in the world.
We should do it. We should remake it. We should do the British version of Grease. Tell me about it, stud.
All right.
Amateur filmmakers out there, make this film, please.
All right. Your lesson starts now. So, all right, just simple, like, this thing I got right here on the... My fucking camera decided to develop a mind of its own. Okay, track, please. Fucking track. This is not what I wanted.
I thought you were magic, the way your camera moved with your hand, to be honest. I was like...
Well, now I gotta do this to make it... I gotta do the fucking, like, stereotypical thing you see in old Western movies.
I'm getting flashbacks to playing the old Xbox Connect, just like...
I'm trying to get it to stop, but anyway. Alright, I got, like, a little punch tool on the end, so... You obviously have to cut a cigar at the cap if you're going to smoke it, because otherwise nothing's going to come through. No air, no nothing. So this just punches a little hole at the cap. And that did not go very well. Of course, like when I'm trying to show somebody, it's just like, no, we're not going to do it. No.
So that punches a hole, not a cutter. Like I've obviously seen.
It technically is a cutter, but it punches like a little
just a
itty-bitty
hole
at
rather
the
than
top.
cutting
Yeah,
it at the end.
as opposed to because like I have a cutter, and it's a really nice one, but I always end up cutting off like too much. Like I would be the worst moil if I were Jewish. Like I'm waiting for somebody to get that.
I get it.
I got it.
Yeah, it was a foreskin joke. But the funny thing is, I see your really cool cutter, and I was like, the only time I've ever had one of them, and I don't know if either of you would have seen it, was this little fake cutter thing in the 90s that was really like it was like you'd put your finger through and it would.
Oh, the magic trick one. Yeah.
The magic trick one. That's the closest thing I ever
yeah.
had to a cigar cutter.
All right. So
speaking of Jewish, I tried that with that.
I was milliseconds away from taking a sip then, you dickhead.
All right, next part is you don't just put it to your mouth and light it. You gotta, like what they say, toast it, because it kind of makes the flavor a little bit better. Like as opposed to like a cigarette or something like that, you want to get like as much out of the experience as possible. And so some people go way too fucking long. I only do it for like a few seconds and then.
So the really weird thing that just happened, did you see me look around really confused?
Did you think that was background noise on your end?
I was busy.
So when you started lighting that, so on our podcast, LaFerd has notoriously got a really loud fan that on his computer. So whenever he talks, it is really loud. If you listen to our podcast, it's really hard to get around that fan noise. When that started, I swear to God, it's the drink talking. I looked around thinking LaFerd had joined the call.
That might be my fan that you're hearing, because I actually have like over.
Oh no, it was
my right.
It was the sound of the It was the sound of the Because I want to call it a lighter, but that feels like it massively undersells it.
It was. I looked around and then see your hand moving, and the sound went with it, and I went, "Oh, right, okay."
I was just lost for. I was lost for a moment. I thought this just morphed into a. I genuinely got lost while you were doing that. I was just transfixed because I feel like this just turned into an ASMR channel for a minute. Like...
Didn't it? It kind of did. I actually did an ASMR video on my cigar channel where like I was smoking a cigar and I was like reading stuff really close to the microphone. And I was just like, I was making a show of it. I was being stupid. Now, nothing inappropriate. I was just trying to see what I could get away with, but nothing like, no erotic stuff. Nothing, just like, I was kind of playing with my voice a little bit and just seeing who I weirded out or who actually got a kick out of it. You fucker, now you did it to me.
The ASMR, when we were talking about algorithms before, that I got caught. I saw a girl doing an ASMR video, and I was like, I don't get it. And I sat there for opened the live, and sat there for 3 or 4 minutes. I'm like, she's just sitting there stroking the microphone with different things. But obviously, I sat there for 3 or 4 minutes, so she came up on my algorithm for the next 5 or 6 weeks. And I just, every time I found myself going, why is this on my algorithm? But it was 3 minutes later before I realised that I should probably move on so it doesn't stay on the algorithm. So yep. I learned when I saw her face, move on quick, move on, because it was freaking me out. I was enjoying it a little bit.
Half a second's all it takes, man.
Especially with us guys.
I feel like I wish I'd have been able to get a cigar and do it, but obviously, to be honest, I can't smoke in this room, so it would have been. But
don't even worry about it, dude. I mean, I'm happy that we're to have a drink about together.
No, the thing is, I said to you before, like I don't get cigars. I've tried them before. Like there's been times when my mates, you know, we like I've got a cigar for all of us to have, and we do it, and I'd just be like, I don't get it. Like you're meant to take a puff in. but you're not meant to really breathe it in. I'm like, but that's the whole point of smoking, isn't it? I don't get it. So but then seeing you do the technique, I'm like, I feel like I get it. I feel like I get it. It's just slightly different to how you do it. You don't fully in how, because I've done that. I've done that to see why you don't do it and learned very quickly.
No, like I have a friend who lives in Orange County, which I'm sure you've heard of Orange County either from the movie with Jack Black.
We watched the OC.
I watched the OC. So he, for a long time, him and his partner, he wouldn't smoke because of his partner. Like his husband was just like, for some reason, a little bit not thrilled with the idea, but then he just said, fuck it, I'm going to. And eventually his husband joined him and started smoking with him. But like I remember he sent me a video one time. He's like, hey, I'm going to do something that's probably going to freak you out. And so he had this, and it was one of the stronger cigars that I've smoked it, and it's one of his favorites. He literally inhaled it and like blew it out of his nose and everything, and the guy didn't even flinch. And I'm like, don't do that. And he's like, I know you're not supposed to. I was like, no, dude, don't do that. That's like horrible. There's no filter. There's nothing. I said, don't fucking inhale that. It's like, don't do that again. I said, if you do that again, I'm going to kick the shit out of you.
That man has lungs of steel.
I will take your bad technique there and I will raise you. If you saw my face about a minute ago, so Ryan talking about cigars a second ago, it triggered a memory that I can't believe I haven't told you about, Ryan, just yet. Because a couple of weeks ago, I went on a stag party.
Wait. For the American audience, bachelor party.
Bachelor party. I think stag's a thing in America.
No.
Well, we know what it means. We know what it means, but we don't call it a stag party.
I have definitely watched an American movie where they called it a stag party. But anyway, bachelor party, stag party. One of my best friends was getting married.
What fucking American movie have you watched where it's called a stag party?
Oh, no shit, it was The Boat That Rocked. It's Philip Seymour Hoffman's character, who is American. But it's a British movie. There you go. Yeah, bachelor party. Stag party. My best friend's getting married, long story short. And a few weeks ago, I went on his stag bachelor, and we haven't talked about this really on the podcast just yet, because Ryan told me, save the stories for the podcast, because I'm sure there'll be some. But I've got to do this one now, because, long story short, it was basically a bar crawl, a pub crawl, that typical kind of bachelor party. And we get to the end of it, and we're just about to all go into our hotel rooms at the end of the night. And then one of the guys that we're with, he busts out a box of cigars and said, hey, what a way to end the night. You know, anyone who wants to light one up with me, can't think of anything better. Now, I don't smoke. I wasn't gonna light one up anyway. But, you know, a bunch of the guys I was with were like, yeah, sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Decent quality cigars as well. And everyone grabs one out of the box and he goes, right, anyone got a lighter? Not a single person in the party has a lighter on them. Oh, all the wind comes out of our sails very quickly. We go, right, well, that's shit. We're going to go to bed now, thanks. We all go to bed, and we all lie down. It's one of those, basically, we'd rented a bit of a cottage, so it was like one house, multiple rooms that we'd rented. So we all go to bed, our heads touch the pillows for about, 30 seconds before, whilst we're just cozying up, just trying to get some semblance of sleep at like 3 a.m. What we hear through the walls is just...
What the fuck?
What the fuck is that? I'm like, what the fuck is... And a few of us get up and we walk out to see where the source of the noise is. And it's that same friend who, I must stress, had said about 30 minutes prior that he actually wasn't feeling that drunk. I'm going to call bullshit on that very quickly, because what we walked out into the communal area to see was that same friend not admitting defeat by any stretch when it came to cigars, currently with one of those cigars in his hand in the kitchen as he attempted to light this cigar using, and it's about to get worse, an electric oven.
No, I knew where you were going. I was like, either he's using a range or it's an electric oven, and this is gonna get bad.
It's a fucking induction hob.
Oh no.
He'd been trying it for about 10 minutes at this point, apparently. and getting very confused why this thing wasn't lighting.
See, initially that was going somewhere I didn't think, and I thought he was like just either he forgot or he was holding out on you guys. Like he actually had a lighter and he was trying to do it. And I'm like, oh no, that's so much worse.
To be fair, at the moment we found him, he'd already tried the hob. We found out he tried the hob earlier, but at the time we found him, he was it's like he'd tried the actual oven. His head was currently in the oven. I'm like, no, you've got so much to live for.
You're making me think about, again, going back to when I went to Los Angeles. Obviously, when I booked my trip over to the States, it was the dream that I had my entire life, was come to America. And I'd said to my friend I was going with, Alex, who's a girl, look, we said, where are we going? And I said, if we're going to go anywhere, I'd love to go to the West Coast, start with Los Angeles, because I never know if I'm ever going to go back. And if I'm going, I want to go the other side, as far away, the other side, because everyone goes to Florida, everyone goes to New York. I want to go to LA because I'm a geek, I'm a dork. That's exactly who I am. I want to see everything in Los Angeles was from a movie. Everywhere I went, I've seen the movie in some sense. Even just walking down the high street and seeing the underpass, I'm pretty sure that was in Terminator 2 when he had the lorry. I'm sure that was the bit. But when it comes to smoking, obviously we picked Los Angeles, Vegas, and from Vegas we flew to Toronto, and it was 3 weeks before the entire of Canada was going legal to smoke cannabis.
Sorry, keep talking. I'm trying to get my camera to stop moving.
I thought you were pledging the allegiance then. I was like, I don't know. I know this is a thing in America. I didn't know it was like a time thing.
There's like a thing I'm supposed to do, and it like is supposed to turn green, and it's not fucking doing it. It's just like ignoring me. So please continue.
So obviously, I, as someone that does smoke the marijuana, was thinking, oh, Los Angeles, I know it's legal. I think it's legal in Nevada, and Canada's 3 weeks away, but it's not legal in Nevada.
Not yet.
Well, there were stores. I know you could buy it because we were taken to a taxi driver took us to a store.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
But there was some. I knew it was different. It was different to Los Angeles.
CBD is legal, but not THC.
Oh yeah, knowing me, I was probably just smoking CBD, and I just was so excited because I thought I was buying all the good stuff. But when I went there, we booked into in Los Angeles. We stayed in like a shared house, me and my friend, and I Google Earthed this place so much. I knew there was a marijuana shop just down the road. Turned out when I got there, that one had closed, but there was a new one called Mary Jane's, which I was like, that's great. I know what that means. I know what Mary Jane means.
Turns out it's a Spider-Man fan shop.
You've never seen a Friday film, have you, Kurt? Kurt, you've never seen Friday, have you?
No.
Oh, right, mate.
I technically haven't either. I saw most of next Friday, but I haven't seen all of the original Friday.
But you know what Mary Jane, the reference to Mary Jane is.
Yes, of course. I've listened to Tom. I've listened to Tom Petty.
So again, when I got there, I was like, okay. So I went to the shop and I was like, okay, this is different. This is legal because I'm not having to buy it off a guy in his car near a petrol station or a gas station, like in the middle of the night. I can go into a shop and buy it. I mean, I'd been to Amsterdam, so I'd been to the cafes and stuff and done that, but this was literally in a shop. And I walked in there and I'm like, so what do I do? So I walked in and there was what obviously was a one-way mirror, clearly a one-way mirror. There was someone on the other side, and I walked in and I was sort of like just looking around, and I went, hello. And this guy literally came through the thing and went, just put your ID in the hole, please, sir. And I was like, okay, hello, I am British.
I would like one cannabis, please.
I don't know how this works. Am I allowed to buy cannabis in your country, please? And he just went, sir, please just put your ID in there. I was like, I have a British provisional driving license. It means
Jesus
it
Christ,
is
sir.
ID, but I cannot drive a car. Is that okay?
This sounds like a comedy sketch, dude.
It felt like it. And then he was like, sir, just put your ID in the hole. I'm like, okay. So I put my ID in the hole. This hand just took it, and I was like, okay. And then he
Put
took
your
it, and
ID.
I'm like, if they let me in, what is behind this door? Like, because I'm clearly like, what is going to happen? Because I'm like, I've seen American movies. I've seen like these backs of stores that have drug dens. Am I about to walk into like 6 gangsters sat around the table and go, what do you want? How much? Oh, I don't know. I'm like, is this going to be like Jay and Silent Bob? And I'm going to have Jay and Silent Bob going, $15, little man. I don't know. What is about to happen? And then all of a sudden my ID slid back out and he went, Mr. Surridge, please just walk through the door. I'm like, okay, thank you. So I took it and this door opened and I walked in and it was just like a convenience store.
So the door opens,
No.
the light seeping through.
You got the clear encasing. You've got like all the glass displays. You can see everything. It's honestly a nice setup. Like there's literally 2 dispensaries a stone's throw away from my house within less than half a block from each other. Like there's this one called Mary Alice. I don't know why they call it Mary Alice, but that's what they call it. And I actually applied for a job there yesterday. And then there's another one that's called, I don't know if you've ever heard of this brand. I mean, it's from California. It's called Stizzy. They obviously they sell cannabis, but they do like the vapes. They have edibles. They have all that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's literally like you could go to Mary Alice, buy a gram, go less than 5 minutes east down the street, and you're at the other dispensary. That's how close they are. And but yeah, they're really nice. They're honestly like I go in there and I love the vibe.
So I mean, I was expecting to walk in and see like 6 big like American Italian guys, you know, hey man, what? Oh, that was more Scarface, but like walk in and be really scared. There was like 2 young girls behind. Hey, how are you? What can I get you? I'm like, I don't know. I just want to get high. What have you got? And they were like, well, we do individual, we do pre-rolls. I was like, do you know what? Can I just buy 2 pre-rolls, please? And they were like this big, right? And so I'm used to like long Rizzler or papers as we call it, you know, or whatever, that big. So I was like, okay. She was like, there's a gram in each, and I was looking at it going, okay, there ain't a gram in that. There's not a gram in that. Okay.
But yes, there is.
What? So the big difference is what I learned very quickly, that we do ours with a lot of tobacco. There's tobacco and weed in there.
That's called a blunt. That's called a blunt, Ryan.
Yeah, a blunt, which I knew what a blunt was, but I didn't know that was just everyday life in America. I thought, like, sometimes when they smoke the big ones, I thought there was a bit of tobacco because you're crazy if you're smoking that with pure cannabis. Turns out I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So I walked out.
We keep it simple here. We keep it simple here.
So I walked out with this little thing, and I'm like, okay, like I'm just gonna walk out, and I lit it up, and
so how high did you get? Is the question.
Oh, mate! Very quickly, I was on because I got very quickly. I got the heebie-jeebies of I'm in America. Oh my god! Like the hood's over that way.
And all of a sudden, David Bowie started playing. I'm afraid of Americans.
I was free. I was giving but the story escalates even more because I was like that first night was like an introduction to a dream world for me, like it was its own movie, because we planned that night we were going to get there, get ready, and go meet my friend who a girl I knew from when I worked in Greece, who's from California. We were meeting her at a club, she told us, on Hollywood Boulevard, which already was like, we're going to a club in Hollywood, like that's great. And then we were going to meet her and her friend who's from, no, she's from California. She lived in Vegas at the time, but she's like, she'd come over to see us in LA, to meet her friend Charlie, who was a New Yorker that lived in LA. So not only that, I'm getting to meet a proper, like, to me, what sounds like a New York gangster. Hey man, how you going? Hey,
you should listen to my previous episode, because I interviewed 2 guys from New York who own a cigar brand. It's called Cigar Clowns. They're from Brooklyn. So
right. Go on, Ryan, do that one.
I don't really want to, just in case the guy listens and wants to hunt me down. But it's so obviously in my head, like
They're not
already
all in the mafia, Ryan.
No, I know, but that's what we've been sold on the
Yes.
TV.
Yes, I know. Yes, I know.
So I but obviously this guy, he was quite well known in LA. Like I think he'd done security around, so we were hooked up. And all I got told was, look, get yourself to this club, tell the security you're friends with Charlie, and they'll let you in. So I'm like, I have no idea what's about to happen. We get to this club, there is a queue of young American guys queuing down the road, and I walk to the front and I walk up to this 6'6" security guy, scar down his face. I'm like, of course he does. Yeah, of course he looks like he could kill me in an instant. And I walked up and excuse me, sir. I'm friends with Charlie. He went,
May I please
Ryan.
have some more?
Yeah, literally, I went as British as like you. I was like, try and be as like so he understands you. I'm like, hello, sir. I'm here to see Charlie. And as soon as I said that, he went, Ryan. I went, yeah. He went, Charlie told me all about you, man. Come with me. I'm like, okay, cool. So then we're taken into the club, and as we walk in, my friend Rachel was like, Ryan, excited, and Charlie's, hey, how you doing? How you doing? I'm like, oh my god, he said, how you doing? That
was good.
We then got to. The funny thing is, I've got a video of him telling me I'm good at doing how you doing, so I know I'm good. I've got official proof from an Italian from New York telling me I'm good.
Yeah, you're not fucking Mickey Blue Eyes, you know. Hugh Grant
That's
trying
exactly
to say
who
that
I
shit.
felt like in this moment. So we're in this club. He's got us a VIP table and a booth. We're in there, and this is where the smoking part comes in. Obviously, I don't at this point know what the rules are in America. In the UK, you cannot smoke inside. You have to go outside and smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is the same. But we're in the booth table, and I went to Charlie. So, hey man, like, I need a cigarette. Where do I go? He went, bro, you with me? Just smoke. I'm like, okay. And I went to smoke, and he just left and just disappeared to go off into the club somewhere. And I went, don't feel as safe as I did when he was stood next to me. I don't know if this is okay because I can't see anybody else smoking. So, and we had our own like security on the booth. So I went over to him and I went, hello, mate. I was like, I don't understand the rules. Like, where do I go for a cigarette? And he went, bro, you're with Charlie. Just smoke. I was like, oh, exactly what he said. Okay. I'll just smoke. So I just started smoking. Then Charlie comes back and he goes, some of my friends want to meet you guys. And we went over and we met these, like, I don't know, is it Armenian? Is that a thing? Like a group of guys from Armenia.
Yeah, we got an. There's like, I think there's a little Armenia in LA.
Yeah, I'd never heard of an Armenian person in my life until this point, and I was like, okay. Well, and these guys looked to me very. Again, I'm nervous and anxious in America for the first time. Look like gangsters in this corner in the booth, and we're talking, and I'm looking around, and there's certain things happening in this table that are probably considered like illegal. I'm like, this is like the dream. This is exactly what I thought was going to happen, like tenfold. I'm in an American movie right now, and then do you remember Scarface, the doorman I told you about?
Yeah.
He just appeared next to me, and he was like, yo, and I'm like, hey, dude, and he was like, Charlie said you like to smoke. I'm like, well, yeah, I had a cigarette just now. He went, no, man. You like to smoke the weed, man. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I don't know if I don't. I was like, yeah. He went, hey, man, and just passed me this joint in the middle of the club. And I went,
God.
it was the best experience of my life.
You talking about like the fact that like in like until like the late 90s you were allowed to smoke in restaurants and smoke in bars and stuff like that here in California at least, and I remember watching Eddie Izzard the Dress to Kill special, and he did it in San Francisco like in 1999, and he's talking about he says you can't smoke in bars anymore, can you? He says soon no smoking, and soon no drinking and no talking. He's just like. He's like, the next thing you know, he's like, come on down to the library, we'll have a wild time. Don't know where that fucking book is. Go ahead.
It very much was. I think it was like the early noughties that they outlawed it outright in the UK. But until that point, like, I'm just about old enough to remember when you still had like smoking inside, and specifically, I don't know if it was the same in the States. You'd have your smoking area and your non-smoking area
Right next to each other.
right next door to each other, like as if the smoke knew.
Watch
Right,
Mrs.
Lee
Doubtfire, man. They talk about that.
No, this is the thing. You're already saying it. Kurt has directly quoted Lee Evans, who's a UK comedian. I know that joke. Inside and out. Very good, Kurt.
I could do the rest of it word for word, mate.
No, there
me
was
too.
like very, very little, like barely a degree of separation in between the two. I will say though, there was like a restaurant. They're not around anymore. I don't know if they were in other parts of the U.S., but there was this restaurant for the longest time. It was called Coco's in California, and I went there all the time with my family. They were most known for like their baked goods. They bake pies all the time and stuff like that. And I can distinctly remember, and this was like in 1992, 93, so I was like 7, 8 years old. And we went there, and that was like the last time I can distinctly recall saying, smoking or non-smoking? And like to the right was the smoking section, to the left the non-smoking section, and of course nobody in my family smoked, at least in my immediate family, and so it was like, yeah, non-smoking please, because like I was third grader and my brother was like he was a toddler, so we weren't going to go into the smoking section. So it was just like that was the last time I can distinctly remember going into a restaurant and there actually being like that question, smoking or non-smoking, and it was just like there was enough
evolved.
separation to not really get it, but you could see the cloud.
Question has now evolved. Like basically, if you're a smoker, or you go into a restaurant, it's like basically, would you like to sit inside in the warm or sit outside in the cold? All right, go outside, sit outside in the cold, and have a cigarette, shall I?
See, well, like they don't even let you smoke on the patios here in California. They don't let you smoke on the patios because you never know. They cover their asses because you never know who's going to bitch about it. Somebody will.
No, we still have that. Like basically, as long as you're outside, it's fair game. Basically, but inside, absolutely not. That being said, that you say smoking or non-smoking, being asked that question again, that I love the way my bloody ADHD brain works sometimes. Is that this is going to be a niche reference for some? I immediately think of a particular scene from Airplane. I don't know if anyone's seen the film Airplane.
I haven't seen it all the way through.
But yeah,
surely you're not serious.
Yeah, I am serious, and don't call me Shirley. But
I know that part.
Yeah, there's so many brilliant little one-liners in that film, and one of the moments in that film is when he's trying to board the plane to get on it at the last minute, and he cuts to the front of the line. He said, "So I'd like one ticket to Chicago, please." And they go, "Smoking or non-smoking?" And he goes, "Smoking," and they hand him the ticket on fire.
No, like that. Obviously, I know the Shirley bit, and I know the jive bit where the lady speaks jive. And that cracks me up every single time because she does it very well. It was just hilarious. So
Leslie
fucking funny.
Nielsen, I think, is the king of dry slapstick comedy.
Oh yeah,
The Naked Gun movies I used to watch religiously, all three of them over and over. One for Leslie Nielsen's comedy, two for O.J. Simpson prior O.J. Simpson, and three
O.J. Simpson
Priscilla
before
Presley.
he was O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, before everyone knew who O.J. Simpson was. We just knew him as the guy in Naked Gun until later on. Oh, he was an American footballer as well. Before,
and then we knew him for other things.
Unalived. Sorry.
I mean, that being said, like, have you seen the new Naked Gun movie with Liam Neeson from like last year?
Not yet, but I really want to see it because I'm not gonna lie,
it holds up.
It looks really good. I was dubious at first, but do you know what? Funny enough, the bit that got me in the trailer is where you see him look at his dad like, on the picture, and he's like, "Oh, Dad," and then who is it? Is it like the captain's son goes, "Ah," and then OJ's son goes.
It does hold up because Liam Neeson subscribes to the exact same mentality that Leslie Nielsen did, which is when you're in a comedy movie, you play it straight. Like, as far as you're concerned, you're not in a comedy.
Exactly, and he had enough practice with like the Taken movies and all the other movies he got thrown into. And then you think about like when he was his little cameo in Ted, when he wanted to buy fucking tricks, and he's talking to the guy. He's talking to Ted. He's just like, I've been told that this cereal is exclusively for children. Is that true? And he's like, no, anyone can buy it.
So you're telling me if I buy this cereal,
honestly, you know what? You're making me think that tonight's watch after this, I am gonna go stream some Call of Duty, and I'm so excited because I'm really drunk. I'm not really drunk, but I'm drunker than I've been in a long time. I'm gonna have some great fun on Call of Duty tonight. But
that is the same glass that he started with.
I promise you.
I just saw him refill it, dude.
Like, I'm not being funny. Like, I haven't drunk in a year. I've got 3 empty
And apparently it's like riding a fucking bike.
Especially when you're British. Like, I forgot how much fun it was. Again, you have to think, I was someone that worked, I don't know what, like, again, you will know what I mean, but like a holiday rep. I worked in Greece and Spain. My job was to take people on bar crawls and I worked in a hotel that I'd go in and book people on bar crawls and phone parties and boat parties and stuff like that. And that was my job. But I was the worst one for the drinking always. When everybody had days off, they'd all go day drink and spend all day getting drunk. I'd go to my room, lock myself in with the air conditioning on and watch Smallville. Because to me it's my day off. Like, my job is to get drunk every night with people. My day off, I'm going to go shut myself in a room and be a geek. Yeah. So that's what I would do. So I've never been a great drinker. I've been a fairly decent smoker for about 20 years, but
I mean, you say you're not a good drinker, but you like, dude, I can barely tell that you've been drinking that much. Honestly, I'm like on my 3rd beer. And I feel fine, but it's just like, dude, you see, you're doing great.
No, not really. I've needed to go for a piss for about 30 minutes, really badly.
But you're not the only one, dude. You're not the only one. I'm like, right there with you.
Starting to notice that I am 10 years younger than the both of you.
It's all right, man. It's all right. Honestly, 40 is the new 30, I guess. I don't know. Fucking.
I know we had this conversation, but again, I'm a little bit drunk. Are you 40 now? Or are you?
I'll be 42 in May.
42. That's it. You're a couple of years older than me. I worked it out. It was only last week I worked it out that Saturday just gone, past Saturday, is 3 weeks till I'm 40, and it's really starting to sink in.
Dude, honestly,
how long?
I love 3 weeks. He said
this coming Saturday will be 2 weeks until I'm 40.
Okay, he slowly gets his phone out to message the rest of the podcast crew.
Wait, so you're a May baby too? You're a May baby too?
Yeah.
May what?
Oh, wait. Should we have a little fun with this first? Are you early May or late May?
Early.
Obviously, because you're intrigued. First half of May or second half? No, obviously.
First
that would be early.
Prior to the 15th, prior to the halfway point of the month.
Yeah. Are you in the first week or the second?
Definitely the second.
Me too.
Okay. Out with it.
No, I can't because I'm drunk and I'm really anxious and I've got ADHD. I just can't say it straight. I'm the 9th of May.
No,
I'm May 10th.
Fuck off.
So
no, you want to know something funny too? My wife is May 20th, and my sister-in-law is May 24th, and I have at least 2 other close friends who have a birthday right around the same time. In fact, you have the same birthday as my beloved, dearly departed nephew.
No, see, Kurt obviously didn't learn about your nephew because it was the first podcast that we dived into the history of your nephew. No way.
Long story. Yeah, May 9th. He would have turned 30 this year.
So he was exactly 10.
Exactly 10 years younger.
Right. Kurt, sorry, this is where, because I've had a drink now, it's the soppy part of it. This is where the soppy part of it, like, we bonded over Power Rangers, right? There is no hiding around that. Me and Kyle became friends because of Power Rangers, because of the silly video that I made. If anybody is listening that checks out that Dorks,
I'll leave a link, honestly, because it's a great video.
Yeah. So we became friends over Power Rangers, there is a lot of history with your nephew. How old was your nephew passed, obviously, unfortunately? How old was he when he passed?
He was 21. He was like just 3 months shy of his 22nd birthday.
Wow, you're so that
He was very
crazy.
young.
Like, and
So, Kurt, just to tell you a little bit, my nephew, who was massively huge Power Ranger fan, his favorite Ranger was Carter Grayson, who was the Red Lightspeed Rescue Ranger. He ordered the suit to cosplay as him, but it didn't arrive until after he passed. But before that, he cosplayed as the Black Space Ranger, Carlos Rivera from Power Rangers in Space. And it was through this situation, just because like he saw my nephew's posts, like he would tag him and he saw them. He's like, "That's fantastic. You look great." And it was through that just that I was able to connect with Roger Velasco, the guy who played Carlos. And I had him on my Cigar channel years ago. I've been trying to get in touch with him. He's a very busy guy. I really want to get him back here and like on the show. But yeah, that was my nephew, man. He loved all that stuff. He loved this, the Super Sentai, the Tokusatsu, the Kamen Rider. In fact, his handle on Instagram was Kamen, Kamen, Common Sense. That was his handle. So
it's
yeah,
crazy. Like, that's I can't believe that we've got the same birthday. And we've known each other what, like 3 years at this point, and we've spoken about your nephew in length at times.
I mean,
How crazy is that? That is.
I mean,
it's
John,
number
the
one
irony
then.
is, John, the irony as well is he said that his handle was Common Sense. I'm playing on that pun.
yeah.
My gamer tag on PlayStation is playing on my name. It's Common Courtesy because I'm Kurt to most people, but my actual name is Curtis with a K, which is actually Gaelic for one who shall never find his name in souvenir shops. But it doesn't exist. It's not a name. But that's my gamer tag is Common Courtesy. Like playing on that, so it's weird that his was Common Sense. I love that.
That's absolutely crazy. I mean. And you didn't mention where the costumes are now.
I'm gonna try not to get emotional talking about this. The Black Space Ranger suit, he wasn't interred in that suit, but he was wearing it during the service, the memorial service. He was dressed in that, and that was the last time I saw him. But as far as the red Lightspeed Ranger suit, it's in my closet upstairs. And the last time it was, well, really the only time it was worn was last year, as you'll remember, Ryan, when I got to be in that little goofy YouTube video where I played a red Lightspeed Rescue employee, and I gave my nephew's buddy, who asked me to come out to Long Beach and do the bit. He had the morpher and everything, and he, basically got to wear the suit and shot and all that kind of stuff. So I'm glad it got some use, because like we tried to put it on my oldest a long time ago, and it was just hanging off him. Like, what's crazy too is that when we tried it on him, he was probably, this was 2018, so he was only 5 or 6. And the helmet still didn't fit him. My sons have my big ass head. It did not fit a 5-year-old, but it was sized for my 21-year-old nephew. I want you to take that in for a second. Just like it would not fit my son when he was a kindergartner, but it fit. Apparently, it was sized just for my nephew. Apparently, my nephew had a very respectably sized head instead of the fucking, like in, I don't know if you've seen So I Married an Axe Murderer with Mike Myers. This guy had a gargantuan cranium. So
Heed, move.
Look at the size of that boy's head. It's like Sputnik, spherical but quite pointy in parts. It's got its own weather system.
We've got a paper down. Is it right? He's just pissed.
We've got a piper down. like my favorite line. Like, and every now and then, depending on what the occasion is, like if we're getting together with my dad and stuff, like, because that was like one of the movies we bonded over when I was a kid. Every now and then, if there's drinking involved, we're like, let's get pissed.
Honestly, it's so weird because it's not many people I've ever spoke to know that film, and I have to explain that my favorite Mike Myers film.
It's a hidden gem, honestly.
Powers. It is so good.
I love that movie more than Wayne's World and Austin Powers, just because it's a standalone hidden gem that was like it's not your typical mid-90s comedy, but kind of. It was such a unique plot.
This goes back to the bit where I said about these don't look as cool. Think of him doing his stand-up bit, his poetry in that film. He's always got a cigarette.
Woman!
Fiona.
Whoa, man. Whoa, man.
Think of him doing that now in 2026 with a vape. Well,
don't wanna.
Don't assume I'm a woe man.
That's how you update that movie for 2026.
No, please don't. If they do a remake of that movie, I'm gonna go ape shit. That is not a movie you can remake.
To be fair, we talked about stuff that Ryan will never stumble across on YouTube in a million years. This is going to be for an audience of potentially one, depending on how many Americans to Brits are watching this. But Ryan, you need to check out What If the In-Betweeners was made in 2026. And I'm not talking about the American version of the In-Betweeners. I've still got a vendetta against your country for that. But
I haven't seen either version, so no. I'm completely out of the loop.
Do you know what? I would love you to... Something you could do for content is one of them, like American watches this. The In-Betweeners is one, and Only Fools and Horses.
What was that second one?
Only Fools and Horses.
Okay.
If you've never heard of that, that is probably the most famous British sitcom. But they tried making an American version. Oh, do you know?
Did they make an American version of Only Fools?
Yeah. And do you know the funny thing is, Christopher Lloyd's in it. He plays Grandad. Is it John
Leguizamo? I need to check this out.
John Leguizamo. John Leguizamo, you'd know that is. Trust me, if you see him play, he's Del Boy.
John Leguizamo.
Is
that who you mean?
I say it in the British way. Leguizamo. But he plays. It was, and there's a Back to the Future reference. They buy a monster truck DeLorean in it. So basically, the premise of Only Fools and Horses is two brothers from South London who are what we call wheeler dealers. They're market sellers. They, like, for example,
so essentially almost con men.
Almost con men. There's the whole like the theme tune is no VAT, no income tax. They don't pay, they are cash guys. You know what I mean? They sell, like, the joke is that every time an episode starts, their furniture in the flat will be different because they've probably sold it.
Yeah. The running quote from Only Fools and Horses. A lot of people talk about the American dream in a lot of ways, and it's very much weirdly that's kind of Only Fools in a nutshell. Because the most commonly quoted line from Only Fools and Horses is, "This time next year we'll be millionaires." Millionaires for the
It's the most British show you could get, but it's one of those. So do you know what? And there's one other to throw in there, Kurt. Gavin and Stacey.
You're gonna need to watch it with subtitles.
I feel like I've heard of that. I feel like I've heard of Gavin and Stacey. I just haven't watched it. We have access to, and I have a VPN, so I could change my location and probably get access to these shows no problem. And so you'll have to message me with the titles again because I will forget. And that way I can check them out, like watch them on my laptop and just see what it's all about. But that I honestly love British television. Obviously the earliest exposure I had to that was Monty Python, because my dad introduced me to that when I was a kid, and I haven't seen all the movies. It is a good start, and I've just I mean, kind of like Ryan, what you were talking about, like being enamored with a person who had an American accent, for the first time ever. I've loved Brits since I was a kid, and then that's how I kind of got, my ability to mimic accents and do impressions and stuff like that, But I fucking love British television. Though I will say the only British shows I've really watched were Line of Duty, Doctor Who, obviously, Monty Python, and there's a couple others that I've watched that just like they either didn't last very long, and like I'm talking about like recent British series, and a lot of them were like crime dramas. I wanted to finish Line of Duty because we watched like the first 4 seasons, and my wife didn't want to watch the next one. I'm like, come on, but she wouldn't. She didn't want to do it, so I've yet to get into it.
They are the three, what I would say, like the in-betweeners, Gavin and Stacey, and Only Fools and Horses are the 3 biggest British sitcoms. The thing with Only Fools and Horses, it started very early 80s. And like I said earlier,
quality.
Our technology was behind. So it is very, very dated. And some of the... It would be a struggle to get through the first couple of seasons sometimes because it looks so old.
Especially when they go outside at any point. Like when they're inside, it's a set, but anytime they're filming outside, it looks like it was filmed on a potato.
Yeah.
Gosh.
But also it's worth because in the very first couple of seasons, there is the 2 brothers, Derek and Rodney, and their granddad. You kind of like have to. He is brilliant. He is really funny. Then, like during like I think it's the 3rd season, he passed away, so they brought in another character called Uncle Albert. That's when it kind of starts getting easier to watch in a sense.
Yeah. That being said, the first couple of seasons have some of the most, even though there's a lot of finding their feet, it does have 2 of the most iconic scenes. And to any Americans watching, if you skip the first couple of series of Only Fools and Horses, I forgive you, but do yourself a favour and at least Google the chandelier scene.
Okay.
I will say no more than that.
Spoilers.
Spoilers, mate. Don't worry about the spoilers. I am not going to lie. This.
I mean, to be fair, it's got to be said as well. By the way, you always say you've watched Doctor Who as well. If you've only ever watched it on BBC America, get a VPN, watch it on BBC iPlayer, the actual British version of it, because one thing I've learned when Doctor Who airs in America, apparently BBC America has adverts. So BBC in the UK has no ad breaks. It's all uninterrupted because the BBC.
Well, I watch
it.
Funded. I watch it on HBO Max. With Doctor Who is actually available, so there's no ads. So good. I watch it uninterrupted on there.
Yeah, well, I would say if you've only ever watched it on BBC America, because of the ad break, so Doctor Who normally airs for like 45 minutes to an hour in the UK, but uninterrupted because the BBC is publicly funded. And what I've often find is when they air it on BBC America, because of the ad breaks that BBC America is, they either have to cut bits out of Doctor Who or, weirdly, play it on a faster speed so they get through the episode quicker. So,
yeah,
if you've only ever watched Doctor Who on BBC
fucking
America,
attention spans here.
Yeah, if you've only ever watched Doctor Who on BBC America, I encourage you, get a VPN, watch it on BBC iPlayer because you have missed something.
Fair enough. Well, apparently I have homework. I need to first watch Superman, and then
Superman
I need to
first, please, because that's the most modern thing we need to have a conversation about. Then
yes.
Gavin and Stacey and In-Betweeners and Only Fools and Horses. There's a lot to watch, but I feel like we've got time. By the way, I'm going to put this up on the screen. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if it's red or up.
And I'm honestly in the same spot, so that is the perfect segue to end this, because apparently we're pissed and gotta piss. So thank you guys so much for jumping on my podcast this time, because it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you guys to jumping on and with the time difference and everything. I know sometimes it's a challenge to schedule, but I really appreciate you guys taking the time to
dude, until you
here,
mentioned podcasting, I'm that drunk I forgot we was even recording the podcast. I just really want to end this conversation to go for a piss.
And there you have it. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. And, guys, I end the show the same way every single time I ask my guests a question. And the answer is in the title of the podcast, Revelers Rule Podcast. And so I will ask you, who rules?
Revelers rule.
Revelers.
Exactly. So thank you, guys. It's you right now because you're enjoying life loudly and lively by having a few drinks and hanging with your mates. So, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. Appreciate you checking this out. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you guys in the next one.
See you later.
Later.